Our story begins on February the 21st, 1804, when the world would see the very first steam-powered locomotive pull a train consisting of 5 wagons along the Iron Tram Road for a distance of just under 10 miles from Panadarren to Abercynon in South Wales. The inventor behind this new, unheard-of mode of transport was Cornish engineer Richard Trevithick, whose engineering genius and even creating this brand new type of land transportation would later inspire another engineer, George Stephenson. However, Stephenson, along with his son Robert, didn't just make their own steam locomotives like Trevithick, but would help engineer on what would become the first modern railway, with the help, of course, from Thomas Meynell, Jonathan Backhouse, Thomas Richardson, Edward Peace, and his son, Joseph Peace. In 1822, the first track was laid at Stockton with a gauge of 4 foot 8 inches, which would become the standard gauge that all lines use on today's railways. It wasn't until September 27, 1825, when the grand opening of this unique transportation system called the railway took place. Starting at Shildon, the train, which was hauled by locomotion number 1, was supposed to carry 300 people. However, it ended up carrying up to around twice as many people, or in today's world, a standard cross-country service. Locomotion number 1 managed to pull the train all the way to Darlington and then on to Stockton, reaching the fast top speed of 15 miles per hour. Again, a cross-country service if you're travelling on the cross-city network during rush hour. This inspired many other engineers across the country, and later the world, to build their own railways, and 200 years later, this is where the original terminus of Stockton Railway Station is located. And this was the station of Stockton. As you can see, there's not much of it left, I'm afraid, because it only closed in 1848, just 13 years. But now there's Stockton and Thornaby stations, which opened in the 1850s and 60s. It's a shame that this station doesn't exist anymore. But you can still see that there are still traces of this station. The odd stone wall, the gravel, the actual feel of it being a historical railway. The current station building, it's not the original, but it's built on where the old station building once stood. But no, join me as I get to tell you about 3 things. 1, the fundraiser that I'm doing for this, because I'll explain it at Stockton. 2, travel on superior traction, sprinters. And 3, we take a look back at this historical railway and its place in history. The Stockton and Darlington Railway for Venture 69. Yes, I did plan it to be 69. It's nice though, because it's a nice railway to do for Venture 69. So let's head to the current station of Stockton, which means I have to go back to Thornbury. Right then, the first of the in this pictures for the S&D Railway is Stockton. Managed by Northern Trains, it has 2 platforms. So as I said earlier, the old station was the eastern terminus of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. It closed in 1848. However, this station was opened in 1852 as Stockton-on-Tees. And only a year later was it renamed to North Stockton, as South Stockton, Thornaby, was opened. It was renamed back to Stockton-on-Tees in 1892, only to be simply known as Stockton as of 1985. The head code is STK. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tico, why in the name of Lincoln Central are you doing a Just Giving page in this Train Venture 69? First of all, it's nice. Second of all, is that most years, since 2021, I have been doing these fundraising live streams, if you remember, on Train Simulator, and the idea is that I would do an impossible all-stopping scenario with round trip from, let's say, London to Edinburgh, or London to Penzance, or Glasgow to Malaga and back, that I've done in the past. And the money raised would go to a charity called the Railway Benefit Fund. And they in turn have been helping people on the railways, whether if they are in active service or if they are retired. And they've been doing this for about 165 years, which is pretty impressive. That is the reason why I'm doing the Just Giving page. So you don't have to provide a huge amount. It could be a small donation or a big donation. Any support will be appreciated and be beneficial for the Railway Benefit Fund. 9:45. Our train should be arriving now, but it's not. There is a problem with the signalling system, so trains are delayed. The service to Middlesbrough has just passed us. Oh, there's a plane up ahead somewhere. I can't find it. Ah, there's the plane there. God, I love this camera. I love this camera. You could do stuff like this with the camera. You just need very steady hands, which I clearly don't have. But the thing is that they said there was due to a fault with the signalling system and Hartlepool. So they're implying that there's a fault with Hartlepool. Of course there's a problem with Hartlepool. Have you looked at it recently? Goose Lord. Situation update. My train is cancelled because of the problem with the signalling system, which means I'm going to have to walk to Thornaby station, which is great. It's a half an hour walk, so I should make it to Thornaby for the what's it called? Half past 10 service, which is what I'm going to have to do. Nice Ford Mustang, and I'm getting on this. He didn't want me to get on that, but there's no chance. Here we are, back at Thornaby now with... Actually, we can do Eaglescliff now, because thanks to superior pulsar bus. Glory to the right pulsar. Not worthy. Thank you. We can now do Eaglescliff. We only have 5 minutes at Eaglescliff, but yeah, that's amazing. That's pretty impressive to think about it, you know. Oh, here comes the cancelled Superior 156 that I was meant to be on, but thanks to the signalling problem.
Northallerton, First, York, Leeds, Newbury, Greenhouse, Soundy Bridge, Hendon Bridge, and Manchester Victoria. This train has 3 coaches, first class accommodation, and South East service. Standard class
Okay, so in this picture is Eaglescliff, 2 platforms managed by Northern Trains with additional Trans-Pennine Express services. So, originally the line ran through the grounds of what is now the site of Preston Hall, Now, Lord Preston himself was probably the first person in history to complain about the disruption of the trains had on his cattle and land. So he made sure that the Stockton and Darlington Railway moved their line to the west. As for the station, it was opened in 1825 as Preston. Because of unhappy they were with Lord Preston, they renamed it Egglescliffe. Karma! However, the station would be replaced by the current station in 1852 as Eaglescliffe. A year after the station, it was renamed Eaglecliffe Junction, then, well, because it was a junction with Northallerton. Then it was renamed again in 1854 to Preston Junction, then to Eaglescliffe Junction in 1878. Now it's just Eaglescliffe. It did have 4 platforms, but now it just has 2 platforms. The head code is at EAG, and they're doing some improvement work, and there comes 480. Hello! I never thought I'd be on 480, but here we are on the Royal Air Force 156. Amazing. I'm so glad I've seen this livery again. The last time I saw it was yesterday, but then before yesterday it was 2018. In this picture is Allens West, managed by Northern Trains with 2 platforms. It opened in 1943 as Early Nuke Halt, only to be renamed a year later to Allens West Halt, and then to be upgraded to a station in 1971. This is where we leave the original Stockton and Darlington line, as from here to Darlington North Road, we shall be travelling via the North Eastern Railways line to Darlington via Dinsdale. So, as you can see in this map, we have on the left Darlington town itself, and on the right we have Teesside Airport and the area. So, the line in red was the original Stockton and Darlington Railway, which ran via the village of Middleton St George's through to Darlington North Road, and completely avoiding the main station on the East Coast Main Line, which is the big Darlington station we all know today. Sadly, this line closed to passengers in 1887, and then altogether in 1964 as an economy measure. Beaching, it wasn't an economy measure, you cut it with the axe! Red card, sir! Excuse me. The line was later demolished in 1967. Nowadays, part of it is taken up by a B road, and the rest of it is a cycle path. The line in blue, however, was opened by the North Eastern Railway, conveniently in 1887, and is the current line between Darlington and Stockton. Also, I seem to have not read out the head code at Allens West Station because skill issue. So here is the head code for Allens West. ALW. As we head to our next station on Superior Express Sprinter 158845, we pass the site of what was Platform 2 at Teesside Airport Station. Services were suspended in 2022 due to the poor state of the station's footbridge, and 3 years later, no efforts have been made to save the station. We also passed the site of the former Oak Tree Junction. The former Stockton and Darlington line branched off here to the right where the trees are. We, however, take a sharp left onto the North Eastern Railway line and arrive into our next station. So, in this picture is Dinsdale, managed by Northern Trains with 2 platforms. The first station was on the Stockton and Darlington Railway, known as Middleton and Dinsdale, because Dinsdale serves not only Dinsdale but Middleton and St George's as well. However, that station was renamed to Fighting Cocks, as it was built on the site of the Fighting Cocks Public House, and it is and what a glorious station it would be if it was still around today with that name. Sadly, Fighting Cocks was closed in 1887 when this station was opened to replace Fighting Cocks in 1887. The Fighting Cocks public house is now a Sainsbury's, and the station head code is DND for this station. So, how does the RBF support you? Well, there's a number of ways they support you. They offer a range of supported services for the UK rail industry, including confidential advice, online resources, a dedicated legal helpline, and financial grants. These support services are designed to help individuals and families navigate life's unexpected challenges. If you work in the railway industry and you are having challenges, why not look at their website, www.railwaybenefitfund.org.uk, or you can ring them actually, 0345 241 2885 for more information. Don't leave it too late. Ah, look at this. See, look, proof that there was a station called Fighting Cocks. But no, this station serves Middleton, St George as well as Dinsdale. And then the centenary 100-year celebration. Arriving into Darlington now. There's no need to do this station because we've already done it in the previous vlog, Venture 68. So, in this picture is North Road, Darlington, managed by Northern Trains with just the 1 platform. So the first station, Darlington, was opened with the line in 1825, but was replaced by the current station in 1842. However, the original station building is preserved as a museum. It's over there, we'll have a look at later, called Hopetown. As for this station, it replaced a depot opposite North Road. When Banktop Station opened, so Darlington Station, the big one, North Road was threatened twice with closure, first in 1930 and then again in 1963. It was also the junction with 2 lines, not just with the line from Darlington itself, but also with the Stockton and Darlington's railway from Allens West via the Fighting Cocks, but also with the Stainmore route to Penrith, the North Lakes, via Barnard Castle in 1962. After years of vandalism, the station's shed was restored in time for the 150th anniversary in 1975, which the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, did the honours of unveiling it. It is obviously the quieter of the 2 stations, however it is the older, serving Darlington. The head code is NRD. Interesting spectacle. Opposite the Hopetown Kids Playground is a 37, I think. It could be a class 40. I've no idea. Let's try and get a photo. And in we go. Old booking office. So this was the first building, yeah?
This here was, this station was built in 1842.
Yeah.
And it's been operational, the train station up there has been operational since North Road Station. It became a museum in 1975 for the 150th anniversary of the Stockton Darlington Railway.
Yes, by Prince Philip.
It was renovated last year in 2004. We've been open for just over a year now. We've added the carriage works and the goods sheds, which is the first building we came in.
Excellent.
No worries.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. For and against. The easy to read version. What? The land for the railway is very valuable, much more than other land around, so it shouldn't be used for the railway. Mate, you want to use it for the railway or not? Right, so now that I've sorted out the political side of things, yes, the Earl of Darlington, he had a big problem. He had a big problem with this railway because it disturbed his fox hunting. I will give you fox hunting in a minute, sunshine. This looks like the original station. Look at it, you can just tell. This was the original station. But then the current station at 1842 was built at the site of the depot, as explained earlier. Replica of locomotion number... This is number 1? Yeah, this is locomotion number 1. That's Durand. So this locomotive took part in the 100th anniversary celebrations and is the oldest surviving Darlington-built steam locomotive. Built in 1845. But no, this is incredible. Why am I not taking photos of these? I should be taking photos. Right. So this is a bit of interesting, I didn't know this. The Stockton and Darlington Railway built the first railway suspension bridge in the world in 1830. It carried the line over the Tees. Have a look outside. We might as well head back to the, have a look in the gift shop. And then head back to the station. Oh, that is so cool.
Who else have we got?
Video. They've got a train set hanged up and they just run it round the, they run it round. That's pretty awesome. It's stopped now. That was an amazing visit to the Town Museum. It said on that board that the Flying Scotsman's coming here on the 20th and 21st of September for that weekend. That's not going to cause chaos. Of course it's going to cause chaos. It's going to be mental. Oh well, on with the tour now to Bishop Auckland. Let's get back on the trains. Superior trains, might I add. Right, just help me out here. The Bishop line, nice sign, you know, 200 year anniversary, Northern, part of the original Stockton Darlington Railway in different colours. But here's the problem. This board has been funded by Why in the name of Bethnal Green would they get cross country to pay for this line, for this board? A Northern Broke or something? They probably are, to be fair. But Goose Lord, man, they go cross country to pay for the bloody sign. Norman, you cheeky sons of... In this picture is Hylington, managed by Northern Trains with 2 platforms. It was here in Hylington where George Stephenson tested out his prized locomotion number 1 steam locomotive. Apparently, once the train was on the track, they didn't know how to light the boiler, so Stephenson sent for a lantern. However, a navigator called Robert McCath offered his burning glass, which is like a magnifying glass. He used it to light his pipe, famously. This is how Stephenson was able to light up the boiler for that very first journey on September 27th. As for the station itself, it is possibly the world's first ever railway station. So the line opened in 1825 with demonstration runs. 1826 was when the stations were opened. So Shildon, Hylington, etc, etc, for horse-drawn services. However, in 1827, the first platform-like structure was built at Hylington, and sooner or later, all other stations followed this style of railway stations, which is now everywhere, 200 years later. In 1833, the first steam locomotive started operating the line. In 1847, it was renamed Aycliffe and Hylington, renamed again to Aycliffe in 1871, only to be known as Hylington in 1874. In 2015, it became the site of the Hitachi Business Park, where they build the new Hitachi trains. The head code for the station is HEI. This is how the original buildings looked, while still in use by the railway. Yes, it is a low platform. Aycliffe Lane to Fikeshik. This is amazing. You need to give this a read. And this is the old station building. Fascinating. Still here, 200 years on. See where all those wires are underneath that, I would imagine this is what was the old platform. Look how low it is compared to this platform. Now this is a pretty low platform, which explains the Harrington Hub, but even the Harrington Hub isn't high enough to be disabled access friendly with the 156s. See, if all platforms were raised to accommodate all trains, people would stop complaining. In this picture is Newton Aycliffe, managed by Northern Trains with 2 platforms. So, historically, this was the site of, I can't pronounce this probably, Simpster Junction, with the Clarence Railway to Stillington until both the junction and the railway were taken out of use during the reshaping of British Railways. This station was opened in 1978. Its head code is NAY. You're not serious. You're not telling me that all of these Bishop Line community rail partnerships have been funded by Cross Country? Why in the name of Inch are these funded by Cross Country? Can't Northern just do it themselves? or the Community Rail Partnership? Why can't they just do it themselves? Why do they get Cross Country in? Cross Country have nothing to do with this line. This is a Northern operated only. For crying out loud. Cross Country are going to need one of these after this. That's not mine. They spelled Auckland wrong. That's one for the Grammar Police. Now the last thing I should point out about the Railway Benefit Fund is that, well, there's two things actually. They're doing this event where basically you can walk, make your own Just Giving page, walk 25 miles of the Stockton Darlington Railway, or do your own walk even, and then set it up alongside their Just Giving page. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing is that you need to know is that it is one of the 5 charities that are being sponsored by the Railway 200 charity. So there's the Alzheimer's Research UK, the Railway Children, the Railway Mission, and the Transport Benevolent, I think that's how you pronounce it, Benevolent Fund, CIO. They're trying to raise 200,000 with these excellent 5 charities. Good for them. I hope they achieve 200,000 because they could do a lot with 200,000. Split it 5 ways, so 40 grand each, and put it towards their excellent work with helping out people in the UK and the world. In this picture is Shildon, managed by Northern Trains with 2 platforms. It was the original western terminus of the line from Darlington and Stockton back in 1825. The line was extended to Bishop Auckland in 1842 when the Weardale Railway was approved. It was also the junction to Brusselton Lane, as well as having a vast freight works, until British Railways of course. It is home of the Shildon Locomotion Museum. The head code for the station is SHD. Oh yeah, in we go. Hello. In we go. And this is the locomotive we want to have a look at first of all. This is it. This is the locomotion number 1. Wow. This is the train that started it all. You are looking at history. I am looking at history. Together we make history. Wagons, I don't think they don't look original. If they are original, then my God, they need to brightening up. So I get a better get a good camera angle for once. No. Alright, I didn't mean to offend. Right, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a photo collage. So, just like that, we'll go for all the trains in photos. Patience. I'll give you the... Okay, that one won the recent 2025 award, but yeah. Meanwhile, This, ooh, this Birmingham Maglev feel very far away from the developments of the 1960s and 70s. So this was the test bed. This was the test bed for the Birmingham Maglev. This was the Birmingham Maglev test train. This was obviously then they got rid of it and replaced it with the ones you see today. Oh, 250. I miss you, 250. May you rest in pieces. Yeah, she's scrapped now, 150, 250. That was my favourite 150 from Transport for Wales. Yeah. Oh well. Model railways. People that like model railways. They have interesting models of all different locomotives. Right, cosy. You've got a cafe in here with railway style cafe with those seats. Oh, that's clever. It's Costa as well. And then over this side you have the model shop and the gift shop. Yeah. Right, we need to head back now to the station. Yeah, not surprising seeing you here again. Ever since the Greatest Gathering and the Severn Valley. Goose Lord, you're everywhere. A warning from history. We have an engine down by the sounds of it. So when the train arrived, the back engine was not working, and as I was getting on the train, it fired up. Struggled to fire up. That's better. See, no problems. 38 years old, but still going. And the final in this picture of the day is Bishop Auckland, managed by Northern Trains with just the one platform. It opened in 1842 when the Weardale Railway gained its powers to build a railway from Shildon to Crook in County Durham. Since then, the station became a vital junction with lines to the West Coast Main Line via Barnard Castle and Cockfield Fell, as well as to Durham, Stanhope, Wearhead and Ferry Hill. The final extension of 1895 showed the largest layout of the station in a triangular form like Shipton or Earlstown. It had 4 platforms, 3 signal boxes, vast amount of sidings, carriages and workshops. It was hit hard by the beaching report. This station basically, it lost services to Ferry Hill, Durham, West Coast Main Line. It lost all of its freight yard, and only the southbound platform is still in use. However, if we look over to your right here, you can see that there is a line that carries on. This line carries on to Stanhope, which is now on the preserved Weardale Railway, with that platform over there being Bishop Auckland West. Today's Bishop Auckland station is the terminus for services from, well, Saltburn. It's every hour, and the head code is BIA. And there you have it, the Stockton to Darlington and Bishop Auckland venture. Despite the Stockton and Darlington not being the first railway in the UK, its opening in 1825 marked a significant step in the development of railways by bringing together two features for the first time: the concept of a public railway available to all for transport of passengers and goods, as well as the use of steam locomotives. The legacies of Richard Trevithick, George and his son Robert Stephenson will not be forgotten, as in later years many more railway engineers such as Sir Nigel Gresley, Isambard Kingdom Brunel, Joseph Locke and William Henry Barlow would all contribute and leave their lasting legacies along the tracks of history. Who knows what the next 100 years, never mind 200, has in store for our railways. But first we have the 200th anniversary of the Rainhill trials to look forward to in 2030. I hope you've enjoyed this special edition of my train ventures. A massive thank you to the Railway Benefit Fund and Railway 200 for helping me with the fundraiser page. You still have till October 1st to send your donations in. And of course, the biggest thanks to all is to everyone still watching this very long video. Happy Railway 200, and until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.